We are here for the conclusion of the final Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series wraparound event of 2022, counting for 2023's points, the New World Championship. I am Connor O'Reilly, joined by Florida native Kevin Kiefer.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, Connor.
It's been a fun weekend so far. Early in the week, we dealt with hurricane conditions. All the players had to practice with, and kind of lost a practice day to that as well. And it's really dried up and turned out to a wonderful weekend. Today kind of cooled off a bit. The wind shifted from the north, and our players, including especially Paul McBeth, have continued to stay hot, and Paul's really distanced himself from the pack as an 8-stroke lead heading into the back nine here.
Yeah, Paul continuing that aggressive play, and Ezra and Garrett trying to chase him down. Isaac on chase card, also lurking, trying to get a good finish. Here on hole 10, it's a par 4, 780 feet. Players are trying to clear this initial OB river, trying to stay in this landing zone to the left. There's OB right over this cart path, and OB line on the left. After that, there's an OB green, and you don't want to leak it too long into these trees on the back row. Might not have a good look. Lots of OB. Name of this one is keep it in bounds, keep it far off the tee so you have a manageable second shot.
Yeah, and something to note is every bunker, the sand bunkers on this course, all play safe, just kind of impact your footing a little bit. And a nice low, simple line out of Paul gets a bit of drift up to the flat side and fades gently. That's going to be pretty textbook. Should have about 300 into the pin from there. Maybe a bit more.
This needs a turn, and it does. It gets that good turn out to the right, skipping up. Ezra and Paul will both have a pretty routine upshot. Hyzer into the green from there.
Yeah, both playing pretty tame on their power levels, just making sure to hit a little bit of angle. And I think the wind was kind of coming off the left here, but we couldn't necessarily feel it that much through this tree line, so it was kind of hard to really assume what it was doing, and might have thrown some guys off. And we see a unfortunate mistake out of Martin after grabbing a birdie on hole 9 to try to get that round going.
Yeah, just a little too high and a little nose up, and guess fluffed it out to the left and found the OB.
And Garrett, one of the best high distance line throwers out there, flips up that wraith and gets some solid distance. And Martin's going to have to really get aggressive to save anything here, and that looks overly aggressive. Catches the cart path, finds the grass on the opposite side, and that's going to be out of bounds. Martin's going to be looking at possible double bogey right here, most likely.
Yeah, not exactly how Martin wanted to start his back nine, but really show just how difficult. I mean, it really shows just how difficult it can be playing on camera and in the presence of a lot of high-class disc golfers.
Yeah, and something about that final round when you're on the lead card, it just seems like it gets a little quieter. Conversations slow up a bit, and you really just got to focus and get in your lane and move from shot to shot.
Garrett with a great up from there. Ezra
playing that A2 that we like to see him pound on for those approach shots, and puts that one up on the bullseye just like yesterday. He's got this hole dialed in.
Martin has this left for his upshot and almost rings it up.
Yeah, you could see that chin up on the release, and you could tell he was watching it. He knew he wanted to give that one a bid. Paul has a longer putt than he would like on the approach, but instead of getting frustrated, sees an opportunity to just throw a good stroke, and really solid putt right there. That's just another bit of armor he's got for the rest of this round, because if he's catching putts like that, ain't nobody catching him.
Yeah, he's going to move his lead. He's going to go to 25 under par. He's going to be 9 strokes ahead of Garrett and 8 strokes ahead of Ezra. kind of in the untouchable range, you think, Connor?
Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty much over almost. I mean, you hate to call it before it's done. There's definitely some holes where you can find out of bounds, but a player of Paul McBeth's class is just very highly unlikely to make as many mistakes as he would have to make. And it's a tough stretch of birdies that the rest of the field is going to have to play impeccably well on. Perfect, and almost better than perfect, to catch him. And hole 11 is a deceiving par 3. It's measured at 263, but actually my rangefinder today told me it was right around 300 feet, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of guys have been ending up circle edge short. It's going to be a nice flat mid-range shot for most of the players. Try to drag it a little bit to the right. Beautiful little elevated green. Paul playing 46 mile per hour, super touchy on a understable mid-range, and once again showing just the variety of speeds he's been attacking with this weekend.
Ezra just not fully turning over that disc and catches the last tree on the left as the disc finds its way over there to the left.
Might have found some kind of Anheuser putt from over there, but it's going to be difficult onto an elevated basket. And Garrett also leaks left and kicks off to the right. Not going to be an easy one. He'll have that tree in his way of his comfortable hyzer release.
And Martin sneaking through the right side. Gets up there and, yeah, park job out of Martin. Great shot. Great bounce back after a very unfortunate hole 10.
Yeah, we see Garrett elect to go with the Sonic there. That tree just kind of kept him from the swing hyzer he likes to putt with. And Ezra does have that Anheuser look. Almost makes good.
It's a good bid. Off the front cage from Paul. There's actually OB right behind the basket there. Elevated pin, and Paul still runs it from 45 feet.
It's just not in his nature to lay up. It's not in his blood. When you're the greatest player of all time, you don't get there by laying up those putts when you have a 8-stroke lead, you guys.
Yeah, he's just continuing to drive it home and continue to make his putts and keep fighting for every stroke that he can get.
Ezra, that is kind of an unforced error, maybe unfortunate slip through by the basket. It's hard to really tell from this angle, but he is going to be a bit beside himself after that one and knows that's becoming a little too late to catch Paul McBeth.
Kind of becoming a second place fight right now.
Absolutely. Martin got the glasses on the head, chains flying on that throw right there. Looking stylish.
Hole 12, par 3, 400 feet. The preferred route is definitely going to be this left side lane. You can go sidearm or maybe even a turnover into the green. But there is a sneaky right side low hyzer that we might see some of these players attack with. Yeah, let's see how it plays out. Martin up first after getting the lone birdie on hole 11.
I always love to see the creativity of the pro field overall. A hole like this, I never really looked at the low right hyzer just because I have a solid enough forehand where that's a good option for me, and I like the straight fairway backhand to where I never even considered it. So once I saw players throw it with success, it was kind of cool to see just the creativity that guys have.
Yeah, and it's also just like such a far sidearm, so it
does test. You have to flip it over and kind of flirt with that out of bounds left and really trust it. So it is touchy.
Garrett's going to lay down this roller. It just looks right. Yeah. It was thrown well, just a little too inside and catches those middle trees.
Yeah, going to be tough from under that canopy to give it the height he likes to from that range. So see what kind of approach he goes with on that putt.
And Ezra with a really well thrown shot here. He last round went OB left and makes a great correction and puts it well inside circle 1 there.
Yeah, Garrett just chips up, willing to take his par. And Martin, nice clean release out of the hand there, out of the woods. Shows that he doesn't need much room to get off his real spinny putt.
After going double bogey on hole 10, he has bounced back with 2 birdies. That's a good bounce back from Martin. Still showing that he's here to fight and be in a good position. And Paul
maybe rushing it, kind of not taking it as serious as he would in other situations. But lucky for him, not going to cost him really anything.
cleans up his par. Garrett also cleaning up his par. Yeah, really kind of a strange miss from Paul there.
Yeah, I've seen a couple short ones this weekend, but he's been playing well enough to really distance himself from the field. And a sweet look at that nice spinner by Martin right there. Catches the low right pocket. And a nice look at the leaderboard as well. You got Ezra Aderhold 5 down through 12, moving up well into that top 10. Ezra Robinson looking to chase Paul.
What could we have here?
Fancy stuff here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good quality, super stiff, pretty grippy too, I would say.
I think I would throw every disc in this plastic.
Here we are on hole 13, third of these 3 par 3s in a row. Super low ceiling created by that low hanging oak branch and an out of bounds cart path to the left, as well as tight jungly woods on the right. This one's 382 feet, plays well for the laser beam backhand, the low powerful forehand, or kind of a quick get down roller that we've seen. This one looks to be a bit inside from Martin, but it's pushing straight nicely, and that fast green's going to skip him to another obstructed look, but he's had that putter going over the last couple holes, so see if he can continue.
Ezra likes to go backhand straight at it. It's wow. Yeah, you really don't understand how difficult that shot is. That's such a low hanging branch, and to really trust yourself and your disc to, fight the low ceiling and get all the way there is really impressive.
Paul trusting this one out of the wide gap to add a little bit of ceiling to the shot. And yeah, don't gloss over how amazing that shot by Ezra was. Yesterday, his brother Isaac also parked it, so super impressive backhands, fellas. Garrett's been going with this quick laydown roller on this hole all week, and this one looks well paced. It's just hard to keep it from getting back to that wood line on the right. That's a very common landing spot for those rollers.
Garrett's up first. Just a little low left. Doesn't catch.
Yeah, just needed to push that one a touch straighter.
And Martin with a turkey. Really finding his rhythm late here in the third round, but
Yeah,
it's never too late to keep fighting.
We got to that second little turkey alley, and Martin said, "I'm hungry, y'all."
Paul makes good from his 15-footer.
Yeah, you won't see him miss 2 of those in a row, and taps in for a simple birdie.
And Ezra with his amazing backhand.
Yeah, he let a little smile out right there. He knows how skilled of a shot that is. And how good it feels to execute. Martin kind of circling the shoulder a little bit. I know he mentioned how throwing those big forehands, he only wants to do it a couple times around, so probably telling his shoulder, that's the last one you got to do, buddy.
Yeah, Martin also dealing with a finger injury this week. Really happy to see him be able to put together a solid weekend. Hole 14, par 5, 1,040 feet. Players are hoping to go strong hyzer out this gap and then attack by going big hyzer either over the OB, really trusting it, trying not to swing it too far back left into this wood line on the left, and then attacking this green. Yeah, really difficulty here is not making the mistake of throwing it OB right and really trying to get out of that gap early.
Yeah, this one's kind of purely a mental hole. You just really want to make sure to throw out the gap, and then you don't need too much distance on that second shot to give you a pretty simple chance at birdie. So kind of test your maturity as a player once you're out there in the open. Just high from Martin there. That was a solid angle. It was going to be a little left, but honestly kicks to a pretty solid spot where he has a clean run up, and birdie is absolutely well on the table.
And Ezra threw it OB long yesterday and makes a good correction today, taking a more stable disc and a better line, and it's a little left, but nothing he can't handle.
Yeah, he's going to have that kind of slow, sandy run up, but he's got a clean airspace and doesn't need to make a ton of progress to still birdie. Paul throwing that straight buzz shot, electing to kind of just play down tempo, knowing once you're out the gap, birdie's right there.
Garrett's going to go with the Firebird here. Mix out the gap. Sam slows it down, doesn't get back left. He'll be in a good position to attack for birdie as well.
Yeah, and to me, a hole like this is all about patience. Patience to not try to do too much on any one shot. Just throw 3 pretty routine shots and give yourself an opportunity.
This looks just a little too far left. Oh, yeah, that is too far left, and that's going to be an awkward shot into the green from there. You might have to lay up left.
Yeah, there's this ragged line of oak trees on the left here that just has a lot of low-hanging limbs that not really groomed, so hard to get a swing as soon as you penetrate into that wood line. That one's narrowly avoids it. Paul's going to have a clean swing from there, but maybe not a super long run-up. Won't really need it, though.
Ezra gets up, really trusting his disc out over the OB and skipping back left. We'll have a pretty routine up and down from his shot there.
Yeah, probably looking to play that A2 from there or over stable fairway. Garrett putting a move on this one. Gives it the height to never really test the out of bounds in a bad way, and gonna skip up to short range, maybe try to chip the Sonic in from there, make a crazy run at McBeth or Ezra even for that second place finish.
Yeah. And Martin, yeah, just a very hard upshot from there. Just a bunch of obstacles in his way, but looks like he'll still be able to get up and down for a par.
Yeah, for sure. Not the hole he wanted, but like we said, once you get in that left side tree line, the swings are kind of non-existent. Paul darts that one down on the green and has enough angle to stick nicely, no skips.
Martin trusting it out over the OB. This needs to stick. And, oh, it doesn't. It just gets a nice little grab there by the tree. He's going to have a putt just outside circle 1 from there.
Saved him a good 20 feet, so fortunate to have that big palm back there. And Ezra playing a nice straight putter shot. And, oh, my goodness, he almost rings that up. And bet sorry he was trying to because he knows he needs something like that. Garrett also with that Toro. Nice overstable approach disc. Chips it up there nice and gentle. Martin battling that left to right crosswind. Just doesn't quite get the drop and straight push that he needed.
Oh, and this is just such an unforced error out of Ezra. Had a relatively easy up and down, just 280 into the pin, and just ends up getting a par.
Yeah, playing for that glorious eagle throw in with the straighter disc kind of took away the easy overstable approach that he most likely in other situations would have went with. But at this point, I don't hate that he's still dreaming of that win.
Still really trying to push Paul and try to really climb up there and close the gap. But with that, now Garrett's only one stroke back. So Garrett has a chance to get a second place silver podium finish here.
Yeah, and while it's nice and all to have a good finish at these silver series, you know, Ezra's had a taste of possibly being able to make a win, and winning an event like this will definitely change your career up a little bit.
Wow, Garrett with the sigh of relief. He knows he got away with a scary putt there.
One of the few putts on tour that doesn't need chains to go in, and here we are on our little Florida Island hole, hole 15, 275 feet. No water around, but we got these railroad ties to create the island. Double mandatory late that you got to negotiate, and kind of a low branch off this pine tree, not letting you throw a little chip hyzer. We've been seeing Paul play this gentle, flat mid-range, and he gets a fortunate
look at the
world
smile
champion
out of Paul.
skip.
Flashing the 6-time ring there. Just a little bounce over the wall. How did that happen? I love it. Love to see it.
Yeah, rare that happens, and as a fellow competitor trying to chase him down when he's already got that many strokes, it's got to be like, come on, are you serious? Of course.
A little frustrating, I'm sure.
But the better you throw, the luckier you get, and a little too much turn out of Ezra just drops on him.
Ezra misses the island by a solid foot there. Really needed just a lot more height there, and unfortunate wind bounce.
Martin playing a breaker here, just a little too straight. Needed a touch of hyzer, and that would have been pure, but gonna have to play from that drop zone again. See if he can entertain the crowd with a make. This one's pretty long, about 85 feet, so definitely not in like the guaranteed middle range that most of these players are feeling like from Circle 2.
Both solid bids, just a little early left. And with a birdie here, it will be a 2-stroke swing from Garrett and Ezra, putting Garrett into, I think, solo second place. Oh, and just a little low.
One of the rare times that someone makes it on the island, doesn't quite capitalize on the birdie, but definitely a lot of room back there on the backside. You can even get to Circle 2.
Good cleanup there from Martin. Ezra also following suit with a good putt.
Yeah, Ezra knows a couple slip-ups early and sprinkling in throughout the round have just slowed him down from the round he could have had.
And Paul being a great competitor, grabbing Martin's disc. Paul taps in, moves to 9 down on the round, 28 under par for the event.
Yeah, I think the move like Paul grabbing Martin's disc right there just shows you how relaxed he is right now. Pretty much knows this is his win. I don't think you see him do something like that in a situation where he's battling a player like Ricky or something like that. So just shows you how comfortable he feels right now.
Here's the look at that leaderboard. Garrett and Isaac. Isaac fighting into that tie for second now Looks like Garrett, Isaac, and Ezra all right there. And Sullivan Tipton, also noteworthy. 6 down here, going to the last 3 holes.
He's made a big move these last 2 rounds.
Hole 16, par 3, 240 feet. Players are going to opt to go straight at it with either a mid-range or a putter. Just kind of land it low. This is a very fast green with all these pine needles, and slide it up into the green. Paul up first after the birdie on the island hole.
One final soft mid-range shot from Paul. Pulls this to the right. That's a very common tree to hit. Pretty solid line, but just a little early out of the hand. I actually know a lot about that tree. I hit it all 3 rounds, and it was a joy.
You and that tree are friends?
We used to be.
And Garrett with a great shot there. Just really puring the shot.
I also kicked left today and had to move a big garden spider, or also known as the banana spiders with the big like zigzag webs, out of my lie with permission with my teammates. Just kind of redirect them to a pine tree.
You had a lot of fun on hole 16
Florida
today,
stuff,
Connor.
y'all. Florida stuff.
Florida stuff.
Martin with the fortunate little pinball and gonna give himself an opportunity.
Oh my goodness. Paul still being super aggressive, going for everything. Gotta love it.
Like you said, there's not really any layup in his blood. Like, he'll give it a softer chip maybe, but he's always trying to make it if he's within 100 feet, unless there's imminent danger.
And Ezra still in that fighting for position. Oh, and he knows it right out of his hand. Just left it low.
And all weekend we can tell how in tune he is with his release. As soon as it's out of his hand, almost even before, it seems like sometimes he's crouching down and showing a little bit of disgust.
And Garrett moves into that second place, moving ahead of Ezra. You think Garrett's watching the scoreboard?
No, a player like Garrett, he's had some wins, and he's looking to just buckle down and do his thing. At this point, he's not going to get the win this time, but I don't think he's too worried about a second place versus third place, fourth place. Just he knows his game plan is to birdie the next 2 holes, and he's going to try to do that, and if not, then take his easy pars.
Kind of a slow round out of Garrett, but still puts up a very respectable 5 down right now through 16. Hasn't really gotten himself into any trouble and thrown the disc really well off the tee. And Garrett picks up the lone birdie on hole 16.
Yeah, this hole played somewhat sneaky, I feel like, for as easy as it looks. It just kind of can elude you sometimes. In hole 17, nothing sneaky about it, just a pure challenge. Depending on the wind, this green will be more accessible than not. We've got a crepe myrtle tree line on the left, forcing you to throw this high spiking hyzer. Out of bounds creek if you throw it too high and fall short. A lot of canopy to kind of crash into if you actually can swing it left enough, but a lot of players are going to kind of spike into the ground around circle 2 and take a long stab at the basket.
Garrett has plenty of distance to get into this green. He's going to go the high swinging hyzer.
I find it hard to believe that release speed was only 57. Getting to that position.
He just comes up a little too inside. If he's a little wider, that swings a little harder and definitely misses that tree and ends up being good.
Today we kind of had a tailwind on this hole, which isn't the greatest hole. It kind of pulls the disc out of the air, so you really have to throw it pretty hard to get it to work left, whereas previous days we kind of had a headwind that was pushing the noses up and helping them fade.
And Ezra's still trying to fight for that second place finish.
Drives it a little farther forward than the other guys and kind of tests that OB long. Gonna have a tough low ceiling coming into the bucket, but it's full sends from there from Ezra. And Martin hugs this one a little tighter than the rest of the card and trying to move it left and puts himself inside the circle. Looks like that's a very impressive shot, or just outside. Either way, that's a Martin displaying the power that he has.
Ezra not happy with his last couple of putts as they just got away from him.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Ezra, as he matures as a player, only 19 years old, continues to realize that sometimes just staying robotic on the course, don't let the emotions get too high, too low, might go a long way in the long run, kind of the way his brother approaches it.
And Paul misses his birdie look low. Not too worried about it, though. He has a high lead here. And Garrett
Oh my gosh.
just cashes one in from 45 feet. Amazing putt.
Yeah,
low ceiling, too.
Those straddles where you got a hyzer it around the obstacle in front of you to the right side, I feel like are a more comfortable place to be for Garrett than a lot of players. And Martin,
Also a good birdie. Hole 17 really feels like a bonus birdie. It depends on the wind, but to access this green, a lot of times what happened to Garrett is very common. Have a long look at it, and if you make the putt, definitely feels like you got one on the course.
no doubt, always feels good to get this one, especially if you can throw it inside the circle. It makes you feel like a strong man.
And let's look at this. Slow-mo from Garrett. Catch the low left. Oh, sorry, high left. Elevator down all the way into the bucket.
The cage rained that thing in. It was shooting down quick. And here we are on our final hole. Hole 18 has 3 mandatories along the right side, always forcing you to play to the left. Big forehands or backhand turnovers play well off the tee. The most aggressive line is going to be that backhand roller. Good rollers might end up around this ditch, this little bunker here, I should say. Out of bounds golf green to fly as you approach this final mandatory on the right here. The best second shots are going to wind up somewhere around this little mound on the left here with a clear forehand or backhand turnover into the pin for the right-handed players. This golf green we just flew over, as well as the one the green this golf basket is on, are obviously inbounds. And once you beat that mandatory, it's kind of home free, but getting there in 2 can be difficult.
And Garrett just getting around that second oak tree.
Looks like he plays a fairway driver, maybe a leopard on that flip up to turn, maybe a beat-in T-bird, but not playing it as aggressive as he could, but knowing that anywhere around 400 or a little more is going to put you in good position.
Martin going with the big sidearm off the tee. Gets around the last mandatory. He'll have a relatively easy shot into the second landing zone.
Yeah, another similar forehand could put him in a good spot to attack for birdie.
Paul's going to go the aggressive roller route. Oh, and this kind of just takes a weird reaction off the ground, and
Yeah, it doesn't quite give it the height to land standing up, but stays out of the stuff on the left. He's going to have a clean run up and pretty good spot from there to attack that third shot.
Ezra, a good move on. Oh, wow. That was extremely
That had
powerful.
a lot of distance. Wow. Yeah,
that was going to get way down
they
there.
got to the trees quick. Those are usually where the discs are slowing down, and his was still moving.
Paul just kind of overturns this one a little bit. Kind of a good tree reaction there. Bounces off of the wood line.
Another world champ ring flash right there as Paul avoids some kind of standstill forehand for options in the middle. Martin sliding the shades back on for that late day Florida sun. Pushing this one a little bit straight as you need to here and slides up just past the mandatory there. Nicely done.
It's a good position to be. He'll have a turnover putter into the green from there. Maybe even a skinny sidearm.
Ezra having to contest with that tree there and really show a lot of trust in his body control. good commitment on that shot. And, yeah, great position.
And Garrett able to go a slow hyzer into the green there, and will be into a relatively good position to attack the basket.
Paul still pedal to the metal. He loves
This is
foreign
fast.
birdies. And
This is really fast.
oh,
Holy
watch
crap.
out, you guys. They're coming in. Paul puts it long. Gonna have a circle 2 just inside shallow circle 2 putt for that par comebacker, but he's not too worried. He's about to walk this one in to the finish line. A little bit too much turn here. Doesn't have the height to fight out.
Just barely catches the top of the mound there. Ezra will have a long look at birdie from there.
And Garrett mentioned that his forehand was kind of bugging him, so you can tell he definitely has the distance to get to the pin there, but just kind of plays a conservative shot, just trying to get out of here and move on. Like we said, not, I guess, too worried about his placement if it's not a win. Little self-preservation right before the off-season, maybe. Don't overdo it.
Yeah. And Garrett lays up. He'll finish his tournament 6 down. Great round. 19 for the tournament.
Ezra tries to leave in classic Robinson brother fashion with one of those long putts around the bunker.
Just a little bit of a putting woe from Ezra today.
Yeah, he came out strong and then definitely had a couple hiccups along the way. Showed a lot of emotion, a lot of desire today, and we know that over time we will see Ezra in this position more.
And Paul for the win. Oh, it just leaves it a little left, but nothing he's not going to lose sleep over.
Garrett giving him a hard time for having to run that one still, probably.
All smiles from Paul McBeth. Garrett's going to tap out. Some home crowd love for Garrett.
And Paul maybe out of turn for the champion, but he's just ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, winning his first Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series event, your 2022 New World Championship presented by Dynamic Disc Champion, Paul McBeth.
Big congrats to Paul. Very noteworthy, as Seth just mentioned, that Paul hadn't won a Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series up until this point, and hard to believe for a champion of his caliber, but also hasn't necessarily played all of those silver events. And adding another notch to his belt. Not the exact world championship we're used to for Paul, but it's a new one.
Very well done. Clean play all week. It was fun to watch, fun to commentate on Paul this weekend.
Yeah, we've had some great Florida weather out here. Some different wind conditions, but overall, great golf. And it's been fun to be down here in the Sunshine State later in the year for this wraparound event. Here we have the leaderboard. One last look. Garrett Gurthie finishing in second. The Robinson brothers finishing tied for third. Pretty cool to see them make the lead card as the first pair of brothers to do that. Martin hangs on to that top 10 spot. Brody climbing in there. And for Kevin Kiefer, I'm Connor O'Reilly. It's been a pleasure, you guys. We'll see you next time.